Hi everyone, in this video we are going to learn how to access the data from Pandas DataFrame. Now over here I have just imported Pandas and NumPy, and then I have defined one data frame, and over here just couple of sample data I have given over here and set up the index. So let's run this code. Okay, this has been created. Now let's see this data, df.head, and so over here you can see this data over here. In the last video where we tried to access the data from Pandas series, where it was one-dimensional data. Now data frame where it is two-dimensional data over here. You can see we have different row over here and different columns over here. Now the concept will be pretty same, but now we have to manage two dimensions. That's only the difference. Now let's access the data using dot operator. I can say df.a, which will return the first column of this data frame. Similarly, I can get the second column. Now using the index operator, I'll say return the first column. Now one benefit is like I can pass a list of column names and I can get all those columns over here. So if I'll say that column list, and over here I'm going to pass a couple of column names, these two columns. And now if I'll say df dot column names, this should return the first two columns. Or even I want only one column, that time also I can pass it as a list. It will work. Now one more function is, let's say I'll say df dot columns and the column name at index 0. It will return the column name over here. Or if I'll make it as a list, that time I can get multiple column names. Using this information also we can retrieve the columns. The df dot df lambda, and over here I have just to mention the lambda functions calling the columns and then pass the column index. This way also I can access this data. If you'll make it as a list, then you can get multiple columns. Now we are going to use the most optimal way to access the data from data frame, that is loc and iloc. And one pattern we have to remember, say this is the loc function, and then first I have to mention the row index, then comma, and over here column index information. Right now we have only two-dimensional data, so this will be the pattern. Now let's print the data so that it will be better for us to visualize. Right now, if you wanted to select the first row of this data, so how we can do that? df.loc, Then over here I can say this is the first column, sorry, first row, and all of these columns. So we got the information about first row over here. Now the same thing, if I will exclude this part, column part, because it's in the right side, and this is the shorter version to write the same statement, and we'll get the same result over here. So if you have multiple dimensions, and if you are excluding the other data which is in the right side, then it will be equivalent, because it will just assume like all other dimension has been selected. So just remember that point. Now the same information, if I wanted to access using iloc, so over here, now you know that iloc is kind of like index based selections, where it is like integer value 1 2 3, those things. So this is the first row, so this value will be 0, and again I can put the comma and colon over here, and this will provide the same data over here. Now I can remove this part also, but that is the same way to write it. Now instead of selecting one particular row, I will select all these row. So I can do that, and all the columns. So this will get the full data frame. Over here, now say that I wanted to select only first column. So this will return the only first column over here. If I wanted to get more than one column, so pass the list value, and this should return column A and column B. Similarly for this part, where instead of selecting all the row, I wanted to select only first row. So I can pass the first row information over here, and this way I will get the data for only first row, column A and column B. If this is more than one row, I can pass, I wanted to select the second row also. This time it should return first two rows and first two columns information over here. Now you wanted to select the range of columns or range of rows. How to do that? Say I wanted to select from first row till fourth row. So I can pass the range information over here, and this will return from first row till fourth row. Similarly over here, I'll say select from column A till column C, and this will return from column A to column C. Now the same kind of access we can use the iloc also, where I will say that provide all the informations, and this will return all the data over here. Now if I wanted to select one particular row over here, so I have to pass the index value. Instead of the name, I'm passing the index value, so 0, the first row, and it's returning for the first row all the columns. If I wanted to select one particular column also, then I have to pass the its column value, or if more than one columns, then we have to pass its index value, and this way we'll get the data for more than one columns. Just make it for all the rows, and that time we can see we are getting information for first column and third column. Now over here also we can pass the range informations, say from 0 till 3, and in the column 2 to 4. And over here you can see we got only these index value data. Now let's say we wanted to pass one callable functions. So before that, I have this column. If you see the C column where we have the data 1 2 3 4 5, I wanted to select the data more than 2. So if I'll call these functions for column C where value is more than 2, if I'll execute this, we are getting the boolean output over here. Now we can pass this boolean data to the data frame and see what will happen. This time we are getting only those columns where it is true. So it's greater than 2, third, 4 and 5th column. So third, fourth and fifth column where its value is greater than 2. Now the most interesting, that is the lambda functions, where we'll see how we can filter using the lambda. Now say df dot loc, and then we are calling the lambda function over here, and again we are saying that for column C values would be greater than 2, and this one also should return the same information. So let's change the value greater than 1. So now we should get the data from second column till fifth column over here. Over here we have got all the column information over here. Now if I wanted to select one particular column, that time we have to pass that column information over here, and this way we can filter one particular column, or if I wanted to get multiple columns, pass the list value over here. Now this will return column A and column B for all the rows where it satisfies this criteria. Now if I wanted to reverse this data frame, how to do that? You might remember this one, which we use to reverse the list. The same kind of function we can use, and this time it will reverse the data frame.